Journey, and the whole idea of a customer journey is to try to figure out what are the touch points that the customer is going through to be able to accomplish their task. And believe it or not, this seems like a common thing, that people would have these frameworks around their offices and understand what their customers are doing and how they access their services, but they don't think that way. In a lot of service organizations, it's about how they put it out there, not about how what is the customer going through in order to access their services and get what they want. So these touchpoint maps can be enormously valuable in trying to define what the environment is that people are working in and where the company can play. So in this example, there's a segmentation of the activities. There's this whole idea of wanting it and becoming inspired to go to the store, and then as you get in there, you try to search around and try to figure out what it is that you want, and then you experience the whole. Sephora is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to go to, right? And then this whole idea of going, wanting more and so forth. So touch point mapping can be really, really powerful in terms of explaining the context in which somebody has to get something done. And believe it or not, it's uncommon in a lot of corporate environments that people can talk to you about their touchpoint map and their customer journey. Very unusual. I don't know why. We've been using them for years. But anyway, this is a fantastic tool. But I also want to point out to you something else, and that is that the retailer here only has control in a certain kind of areas. And so that drives new kinds of experiences that they want to have, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But they only have control in certain points on the map, right? And they have no control in other points in the map, very critical points in the map. So we're thinking today that touchpoint mapping doesn't look like a linear experience at all. In fact, it's sort of a series of loops if you think about it, right? So it's the media influence that's happening today and the social networking influence that's happening today is extending and making more important the front end and the back end of every experience. And so when you think about the things at the beginning of this, what kind of media influences are happening, what are the trends, what are people saying, all that sort of stuff, that has to be taken into consideration at the fuzzy front end. And even though the retailer here has no control over this whatsoever, if they're very smart, they will insert themselves at key points in those little touch points so that they will they'll be a factor. And whether they're going to be in show up in a magazine, or whether they're going to show up on a website, or whatever they're going to show up on, they want to be in the mix so that they're able to influence the person that's having this customer journey. And really on the back end too, with social networking, people are using these technologies to be able to show off what they're doing or talk about what they're doing. So the customer journey is getting extended, and it's becoming a whole new thing. And what you want to do is be driving people in your system at all times. And so it doesn't really, you can explain it as being linear, but it's not linear at all. People are bouncing around in your system all the time, and the smart companies are trying to figure out where can I catch them most when they're most influential into buying things, and so on and so forth. So it becomes a very, very interesting and powerful tool to try to figure out how to spend your money. What do you do at certain points in the process? Where are people having a lot of pain? What's a moment of truth where like your experience with the organization can be broken by your experience one way or the other, that kind of thing. So it's a very interesting